Hello and welcome. We are tracing the history of the rise of nationalism in Europe, and we have already discussed the different dimensions of the growth of nationalism in Europe. Every nation or the part of Europe has its own story. Today, we will focus on the story of the unification of Italy. Like Germany, Italy too had a long history of political fragmentation, as you can see in the map of Italy before unification. Italians were scattered over several dynastic rule states as well as multinational Habsburg Empire. In the 19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states. Only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was ruled by the Italian princely house. In the north was under the Austrian Habsburgs. The center was ruled by the Pope. Southern region were under the domination of Bourbon kings of Spain, and even the Italian language was not common. It still had many regional and local variations. Do you remember in 1830s, Giuseppe Mazzini was a revolutionary who tried to unify Italy, and he worked for it. He even formed a union called Young Italy, but he didn't get success in that. After the failure of revolutionary uprisings in 1831 and 1848, now this task passed from his hands to Sardinia Piedmont and its ruler, King Victor Emmanuel II. Now his chief minister Cavour led the movement of unification of Italy. He was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. Then he was joined by Giuseppe Garibaldi. With Giuseppe Garibaldi came voluntary forces. Then later on in 1860, they also won the support of the local peasants. They marched into the South Italy, succeeded in driving out the Spanish ruler from Two Sicilies kingdom in the south. In 1861, Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed the King of United Italy. Now let's see another story, the strange case of Britain. There was no British nation before 18th century. The primary identities of the people who inhabited British Isles were ethnic ones, such as English, Welsh, Scot, or Irish. All of these ethnic groups had their own cultural and political traditions, but as the English nation steadily grew in wealth, importance, and power, it was able to extend its influence over the other nations of the island. The English Parliament had seized power from the monarch in 1688. England became a nation state. Act of Union of 1707 signed between England and Scotland resulted in the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. England was able to impose its influence on Scotland. As a result, the British Parliament was dominated by English members, and Scotland's distinctive culture and political institutions were systematically suppressed. Now, we will see the similar case of Ireland. Ireland was a country deeply divided between Catholics and Protestants. Now, the British helped the Protestants of Ireland to establish their dominance over Catholics, who were more in number in comparison to Protestants. Now, Catholics revolted against British dominance but suppressed. In 1801, Ireland was forcibly incorporated into the United Kingdom. So now a new nation, British nation, was born. It was the union of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Symbols of the new Britain was the British flag, the national anthem, and English language. Through the propagation of a dominant English culture, these symbols were actively promoted, and older nations survived as subordinate partners in this union. With this, we come to an end of today's story. This revolution or this formation of nation in Britain is also known as a Glorious Revolution or Bloodless Revolution. With this, we come to an end of our today's class. Take care and keep smiling.